Okay, so back in the day, I think it was like 2015, maybe 2016, I was dropping a ton of mail up in this county called Cumberland County. It is home to Crossville, Tennessee, which is our like golf capital of the state. A lot of older retirees go down there and set up shop, have a second home there. And at the time, I was selling final expense like it always had been and looking for new places to drop mail, and was excited by some of my initial research that, hey, I'd like to drop some mail where there's a bunch of old people. Maybe they want to buy final expense. Here's what happened. I started working these leads, and after the first day of approximately, 10 appointments, and I saw all 10 of them, not a single one bought. And if you've ever been in this position, you're like, oh my God, I'm losing my mojo. Is it over? Do I have to go back and work for somebody? And then the following day, thankfully had a good sense of amnesia, starting the day fresh, ready to roll again. Had another like 5, 6 appointments, something like that. And every one of them was exactly the same. People would see me, they wouldn't buy, and my anxiety level creeped up and up and up. And I thought, dear God, it's over. It has to be. How can I run 10 appointments, 11, 12, then at the very end, 15 appointments on the same lead cards that have been doing well for me, and I'm not making sales. So, by the way, before I continue the story, my name is David Duford. I own Duford Insurance Group, where I train and recruit agents nationally to sell things like final expense, Medicare, and annuities, both face-to-face and over the phone. And the reason I'm putting this little story together is because I want you to understand that there's something that you need to have to be successful in the final expense business, and that's persevering despite the seemingly insurmountable odds that face you. And the thing that kind of reminds me most in my business of going through this is when I was working leads up in Crossville, Tennessee, where I had 15 appointments where absolutely nobody bought for me. And I just remember thinking after that 15th one that I was going to go broke. I'd run and bought thousands of dollars of leads and nobody was buying, and that I was just in deep doo-doo. But the thing with perseverance, guys, is that if you just stick with it, despite your brain telling you to quit, stop embarrassing yourselves, don't do it, it's not worth it. If you just stick with it and stop listening to the devil on your shoulder and listen to the old angel, you're probably going to be okay. So here's what happened when things turned around for me. So the 16th appointment was still up in Crossville. And it was the end of the night. I had run as many appointments as I could. I was totally out of gas. I wanted to go home. But I had nothing to lose, especially after 15 appointments that I hadn't already lost. So I ran the 16th appointment. Sat down with the prospects. Was there for 2 hours. And real nice people from New York that relocated to Middle Tennessee. 2 hours later, I walked out with a $300 a month policy. Pretty big. And then a $25 a month policy. Pretty good for me. So I had almost wrote about $4,000 in final expense premium inside of 2 hours. And I was stunned. Like, if I had done that over the course of both days and spread it out, that would have been completely thrilled. That's a lot of premium for me. And then the remainder of the week, I had new leads coming in from a county called McMinn County, which was a couple of counties over in East Tennessee. And I started working leads over there. And lo and behold, I ended the week 2 days later. So that was like Tuesday and Wednesday, then Thursday and Friday I was in McMinn County. I ended the week with another somewhere at $4,000, $5,000 in additional premium, where I totaled right about $9,000 in premium. The crazy thing with this is that if you had asked me after the 15th appointment if I was going to have $9,000 packed away in final expense premium in the next couple of days, I would have told you you're crazy. In fact, I would have told you that as I was leaping off the cliff to my demise. But that's the crazy thing about selling insurance, is that the numbers tend to work themselves out. And we like to think about this being a numbers business, which it is to an extent, and it being even. Like, we just, if we ran 5 appointments a day and we sit with 4 and 2 will close and everything's perfect, it just follows this perfect algorithm, this perfect equation. Life isn't like that. Man plans, God laughs, is what I like to think about it. And this is definitely where God had the last laugh. And I was put in a position where I realized that it's the totality of all of that activity where things start to smooth out. But the execution of the strategy can just bring a sense of randomness. You can run 15 appointments, nobody buys, and then the second 15 appointments, everybody buys. But it's crazy. You don't know what to expect from day to day. It's in those longer term measures, those averages, where things start to actually pan out a little bit better in your favor. So again, the moral of the story here, guys, is that perseverance pays. You got to stick with this business if you're going to have any success. You and your doubt that you're getting when you're knocking on the door and nobody's buying, you've done that a bunch, that is the test that you are being given, I think, by the final expense gods, that is testing your wits. Other agents out there across the country are seeing the same thing, and most of them, they don't have the wherewithal to continue. Their ego's too tied up in failure to go through it. You shouldn't. Keep going. It's likely there's yeses behind some of these doors, and sometimes those yeses are enormous. You just got to keep going despite your ego telling you, oh, it's too much. Forget about it. Don't listen to it. Number 2, thinking too much isn't good, okay? I did a video years ago about your brain getting in the way of success, and there's kind of that sense of this business. It really does work out if you just do it, despite the doubt that you have. And it's one thing that's hard to cultivate is this sense of what if, or second guessing or doubt. And doubt's actually kind of an important thing. You should doubt questions things. It helps you arrive at the truth. But there's some sense of doubt that can get in the way, the second guessing, this prevention from going all in. Best thing you can do is when you find somebody you trust and have an affinity towards as far as a connection and agency, shut the brain down, put blinders on and completely commit. Burn the bridges. Don't second guess, because you're probably in the right place if you have an attraction to a system that has proven results. Number 3, I'd lose count here. Again, my brain's shut down, like I said, so I can't count anymore. You're that much closer to a yes when you hear a no. Again, if you hear no's, in some sense, there's some truth that you're closer to hearing a yes. Statistically, if you think about yes, no as a coin toss, you're going to get heads or tails at some point. And even if you had 5 heads in a row, we know statistically you're really close to getting tails just because the odds are in your favor. And it's kind of sort of like that with selling insurance. If you are not a bad agent, if you're just a good agent, just stick with it. You're going to hear yes. And the more no's you hear, you're that much closer to yes. And number 5, just like I said, remember this is a numbers game with an emphasis that the long haul is where the averages and the consistency are held. We have to think in a long-term perspective, despite we live day to day, second to second, appointment to appointment. And somehow we have to connect this. We have to overcome us as a pattern-seeking human, overcoming this problem of managing ourselves in the moment and thinking to the longer term. And it's those that can overcome that sense of self and doubt and all that stuff and thinking and connecting to the long term and having faith and trust in it. Those are the people who are going to do well in this business because, again, the numbers really work out as long as you put the numbers in and as long as you measure over the long haul, not appointment to appointment. So I hope this gives you some motivation that, even the best out there, and I'm not the best, I'm just a good agent. Even good agents can struggle. You're always going to have some sense of fight or battle against your worse half and your better half. And the key is just to recognize the worse half for what it is and don't listen to it that much. It's just going to bring you down. Have the faith. Keep committed. Keep working. And this business is going to provide you something fantastic and wonderful if you just stay with it and be committed. And I hope you enjoyed this content. If you do, make sure you subscribe and like the video. And if you want to learn more about how working at DeFord Insurance Group works, there's links above or below. It's going to take you to my website where you can find out more. And thank you so much, as always, for watching. I really appreciate you doing so. And we'll see you next time. Y'all take care.